my god, he's on Windows. Imagine being on Windows when you make Linux skits. Ha ha ha. Jeez, so cringe. I wish I could switch over. I can't. I literally can't. My graphics card, my stuff, this computer is on Windows right now. It'll switch eventually, hopefully, just like how I'll eventually shave, but I literally can't because I am forced to. I'm not gonna go into that. So just ignore it. Just ignore the fact I look like a hairy, weird man and focus on the subject of today's video. Bespoke. Bespoke is a fully free, fully functioning, most of the time, most of the time, DAW, something audio workstation. I think that's what DAW stands for. Actually, let's look this. DAW. What does DAW mean? Digital audio workstation. DAWs are digital audio workstations, and this is an amazing digital audio workstation. I downloaded it like what 20 minutes ago, and I'm making a video about it. After 20 minutes, it's a very interesting digital audio workstation. Now I've worked with DAWs in the past. When I was like a kid, I wanted to mess around with that stuff, so I messed around with LMMS, and it was very confusing. It it confused the heck out of me. And now when you look at LMMS, although it's what's it called? A great open source DAW, comparable to FL Studio. I know it's probably not as well maintained or updated and stuff. When you go to their GitHub, you can see that the latest release was all the way back in 2020. That's kind of concerning. That's kind of concerning. Now there are other alternatives. This project's basically dead. We've got we've got some pull requests. We got some activity going on here, but like 2 hours ago, that's not too bad. But for the most part, it just seems sort of dead. Now there's other alternatives to, FL Studio if you want something open source and free. You've got things like Zrithum, and Zrithum looks so clean, looks so nice, so much more familiar to FL Studio than what I'm about to show you today. But there's a reason why I'm showing you Bespoke because I just like it. I don't know how to explain it. I'll try my best, but it's just very interesting. But when you go to like Zrithum GitHub, their latest release was on April 27th of this year. It's now that is a bit newer than Bespoke. Bespoke was latest release is 2023, but it's not been a full year. It hasn't been a full complete year. Plus, it's way more niche and smaller than Zrhythm. Zrhythm is it's very well supported. I guess it's got a lot of contributors. It's got 126 compared to Bespoke's 43. A lot of people probably look at Bespoke, look at how it looks, and be like, nah, not for me. Trust me, there is some merit. It does things in a very interesting way. You can see it right here. You string together modules, and I think that is so cool. I didn't really fully understand it until I started using it, and then I was like, there's some merit to this. Because when I'm using it, it's almost like this, like plugging in sort of thing forces your brain to sort of understand things a little bit more. Things with, Zathura and like all these complicated stuff, I could look at it and it's so colorful and it's so nice, but I just don't get it. And I know I can get it if I do a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube videos. I can get it, but I just don't. Like instantly, I am confused. That's a little bit different with Bespoke. So when I've got Bespoke open up here a little bit, usually it's not empty like this. I think I just deleted this stuff, so I'm just gonna open Bespoke again. But usually it has these two things, and two things you can't really see the third thing because my ugly head's in the way. So I'm just gonna take that and move it here so that they're like right under each other, because you can do that. You can move things. So basically, all you have to understand about Bespoke is, let me toggle this thing away so that that message goes away. But all you have to understand is this. You don't have to understand. I don't know what that does. It doesn't really matter. But this right here, you just got to understand that that is your output. Anything you attach to this will be, outputted. So for example, let's just grab a signal generator. Okay. Let me delete that. That's not a signal generator. This is a signal generator. It is generating a signal right now. That's its job. It generates a signal like a sound or whatever. It's doing that right now. We can't hear anything. That's because it's not attached to the gain. So grab grab this little node, and just attach it to the gain. And then I almost forgot this. I almost thought everything broke. And then you just want to increase the volume. Look at that. Look at that. We got sound, and you can see it. You can visually see the sound traveling in this wave. It's so cool. It's so cool. That just blows my mind. That's just the basics. Let's actually do something that's like, akin to like a DAW. So let's get like a drum player. This right here, you can see is a drum player. It's very small. There's not much to it. But then you click the edit. Okay, you've got your kick. You can't hear anything because it's not attached. Let's just attach it to the gain so we can test it for now. You got your kick. You got your snare. You got your HH Percocet, baby. Like the rappers, they must use this in their stuff, You got the O. I don't even know what that is. But I can see it. I can visually see the sound traveling. I understand it. I understand the fact that with this drum player, when I click this button, it is sending the signal to this gain and it's coming out, And that's, for me, that's very, like, it's a nice way of learning things. Now let's like detach this thing. You could just grab it and click delete, and now it's detached. Now when you click anything, it's not going to play anything. But now let's grab another instrument. Let's grab a drum sequencer. Now we've got this sequencer. Now if you messed around with DAWs or just use DAWs, you'll kind of understand this. So this is a thing that you can create a rhythm on, like by placing things here. But it's not doing anything, and that's because it doesn't have any sound. Or it's not even, it's not attached to anything. You can attach it to this drum player. Now you can see it glows in which of the effects it's hitting, but this is, then again, needs to be attached to the gain. And look at that. You could see the sound coming out of that. So we just attached to the gain. Look at that. It's created a pattern. So now I know that my drum sequencer is sending the sequence to this drum player. The drum player is correlating these sequences to like, each of the things. Oh my god, I got a notification. That just ruined my whole video. But anyway, you know that this drum sequencer is sending a sequence over to the drum player. The drum player is correlating the sequence with the sounds and playing them out the gain. That's so good for me to know. I don't know why, but I just understand it more, And now we could create like an actual thing here. So, maybe a let's actually put that in the beginning of the loop here. Okay, we're using the HH. And if we wanted to use the kick, all we actually have to do is change this number to 12. And you're like, okay, how do I know that that's 12? It's because it says random 12 right there. And if I wanted to use the snare, I would just change this to 13. You guessed it, because it says 13 right there. So you just correlate the numbers, and boom. I didn't look that up. I just guessed, and it worked. That's just insane. In the same way that you can right-click and add modules, you can just right-click and type whatever you want, and it'll search it up. That's nice. That's a nice thing that they added in there. And it just makes it so, like, easy to use. Okay, that's not, I don't like that. Let's go. Okay. Maybe there. Okay, that's too much. Okay, that's not. Let's do another one here. No, that's a snare. Okay, here we go. We've created a beat essentially. This is hot garbage. I know it's not the best beat, but I'm not a musician. But it's pretty good. And if I wanted, if I wanted you guys to hear me more, I could just turn down the gain in this gain section over here. We're cool. We're all good. But if I just wanted to keep the gain normal, I could also just type in 1 as a value and keep it as 1. I could turn this down. That blows my mind. Another thing that I really appreciate about this is like the little things that they added. The fact that, okay, say my volume is at I don't know, 0.2. It's at 0.2. Oh my god. I actually I enabled this little thing. I don't know what that was, but it's varying the volume. That's also pretty cool. I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, so let's not enable that. That just happens when you oh god. Okay, let's open this up again. Let's open it up again. And here you don't want to right click. The thing is that I right click. That's why this little menu popped up and it enabled that. But basically, if you just click on this and say your volume was at 0.2, right? Say you wanted to increase it by 2, but you didn't want to think about the math. You could just do, dang it, 0.2 times 2. And now we're at 0.4, which is mathematically correct. It just did the math in the thing. Although I don't know why it, like, can I do -3? Can I do 1 minus 0.4? Yeah, I can. I can do math in the thing. I realized I could zoom in, and I probably should have shown it that way. Okay, so say, okay, this is, the right clicking and stuff is a little bit confusing. That I will admit. Just if you right click and if you just click, oh, I just now understand. You don't have to click anything at all. You could just put your thing on there, and then you could just put 1. That's it. You just have to put 1 there. Enter. Boom. So now let's do 1 minus 0.3. Enter. 700. 0.700. That makes sense. It's math. It's math. It's in the thing. If you want to disable something, you can click on this little track here. You can see this is still feeding into here, but it's disabled, and so it's not carrying out the signal. And if we enable it, it will, carry out the signal, and boom. It's a really good start of something that has so much potential. Another thing I forgot, I completely forgot to mention, is the fact that you could literally script in here. You could use a Python script and create some scripts, like you could just, like, I can't do this because I don't exactly know how to do this, but you can code your music, okay? Like, I'm not kidding you. You can code your music. Look at this. Do you guys see what's going on? Like, I don't understand the code, but I understand the visuals here. This is also why it's so helpful. Whenever I'm looking at other people's, music things, I understand it a little bit more. Okay, so, like, I can sort of break this down. Up in the top, we've got this little pulsar here that is just sending a pulse signal to the script. And this script, I mean, I know a little bit of programming, so this script is saying, okay, if the count is equal to 0, then play these notes. Else, play these notes. So it's probably going in between those notes, And they've used some math from the other, like, notes or whatever to see which the C veil will be or whatever. But I don't think this top part probably does matter, but it does not matter to me. And then when it chooses those notes, whenever it plays those notes, it's sending those notes to this mid ICC, and that has some sort of value, and then that sends it to a VST, which is a virtual something instrument or something like that, which is of a piano. It has a certain volume, and that gets sent all the way to the gain. So this just sends a note. This sends a note, and the mid thing takes that and puts it into the piano. I think you could probably get rid of that, but that's probably for some sort of control of the notes, and then it just feeds it into the VST, the piano. Boom, and it goes right into the gain. It's out there. That's insane that I'm able to do that just with a few lines, you know? That's, I don't know, it's mind blowing. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe this project will die in a year or something, but I just think it has so much potential. You know, there's only one real problem though. Okay, two problems. One is pretty minuscule, and it's the fact that if you have if you have like say another note effect, let's just do a capo right here, like something small, and you try and delete this one, but you accidentally highlight that and you delete it, there's no control Z. There's no control Z. And when you're working with like adding things and creating things in general, it's a pretty good thing to have a control Z. If you don't have a control Z, you might be screwed. You might be out of, you could just destroy your whole project with a slip and a delete. You could just like and delete it all. I wonder if you could delete the game. See, you can delete the game. That's probably not good. And I can't control Z it. I can't get the game back. What happens if I load? Okay, example. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, so Shift P, by the way, I looked in this thing right here, is actually to pause and play the music. So that's pretty convenient. So I can Shift P again, play. But I've paused it so we can kind of like understand and break this, through together. So we got a note canvas. It seems to have, I think the green notes are the notes that are being played. Right, we can move this around anywhere we want. We've got a chord holder, a arpeggiator. I don't really understand this. The stuff that is, like I can understand what's happening. I can understand the things that where it's going from and stuff. The only thing is that I just pulse to play. Interesting. Okay. But the only thing is I just don't understand these tools yet because I haven't used them. I don't know effect chain. I actually know what an effect chain is because it's pretty simple. It's just they put this effect on it and they put a delay on it and they put a reverb on it. These are just effects, and they've got an oscillator. I believe that's like the thing that goes back and forth and does something. And they got a note wrap. I'm guessing that just wraps the note within a range. And a FM synth. I have no idea what that does, but I do know it goes into gain 2 and then that goes into gain. Gain 2 seems to be a lot louder than gain. I'm guessing this is what they did to increase that volume. So that's pretty cool. I can't play anything. Oh, there it is. That's pretty cool. If I turn this gain down, so most of the volume is actually coming from this thing. It's so interesting how you could just explore things so much easier because everything's made in like this little node tree, so we know that. Let's disable some of these delays. Okay. Interesting. So the main sound is coming from here, but I think there's also grid mode, which is also pretty cool if you want to be more organized about things, So I think the main sound's coming from here. This is also doing some stuff and going into the effect chain, but this seems to be the main stuff. So I wonder what happens if we just if we just get rid of it. Yeah, so this is basically just like some sort of synth coming in from here, which is like an oscillator. I guess that makes sense. It goes back and forth. And we've got this now like sound here that's just pulsing and it's being it's just waiting. It's waiting to be connected. And we could just do that by just, and there we got our sound back. As this program has an insane amount of potential. Yeah, sure, it might not have the best UI, okay? But as far as, like DAWs go, I feel like this just strikes such a good middle ground between beginner friendly and so advanced that you have no idea what you're doing. This strikes that middle ground really well because if you are very experienced in this, you can create some awesome things like we just saw. And in fact, I feel like you could probably create some things that are impossible to create in other DAWs like FL Studio because there's a scripting language embedded in this, like Python, which is absolutely insane. But I also feel like it has a slight chance of dying. I feel like I should, you know, warn you guys about that because if we really look at it, Zrhythm has like 126 contributors. That's fine. That's not going anywhere. And for musical people who are interested in music, being into development is probably pretty rare. That's why things like, Godot. Godot has 2,556 contributors, which is like a game engine. It's completely open source and it's thriving. It is thriving right now. And the reason it's thriving is the people who are interested in it usually are the same type of people who would add something to it because they're programmers. So that works out for them. Blender also just has 279 contributors, but Blender's not going anywhere because Blender has become a stable, and we have Bespoke here with our measly 43 contributors. No offense to them. I mean, they're doing an amazing job. It's just, I hope that this project just does not die because the potential it has is insane. And, I'm just scared because of seeing projects like LMMS that just die out, But the creator behind this seems like he's very passionate. He's earned my respect. This also looks like he's a drug addict. I'm sorry, that's an interesting profile picture. But it is so interesting what you can do with this. I've seen the overview. It's pretty cool. Go check it out if you guys are interested in this program. It's just so cool. I think this would be amazing, and it would probably work hand in hand in making sound effects for games. I think this would do just awesome. I think this is an insane project, and I hope it never dies, and I hope it just keeps going. Thank you for watching. I hope you got interested in what I told you, and bye. Have a good day.